Good morning, y'all. This is your teacher, the Crypt Keeper. You may remember this look from last week. I went ahead and applied the major sculptural changes to my face before I do the detail work. I did want you to notice that I've done a little bit different work on my neck today. I actually made this face a lot and saw where those structures are and highlight and shadowed around them and made my neck look a little more aged and saggy. Also kind of defined under the chin a little more and worked on a little more definition. There's some blending issues, but it's a pretty good base to start from for what we're doing today. I'm gonna add in some wrinkles and just try to give the face more texture. This is just like kind of a nice finishing touch that pushes everything over the edge. So I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna be doing a lot of this with these two, the highlight and the shadow. And my brush. It gives me a nice fine line. So here we go. I like to just very gently dab my wrinkle lines just to give them a little bit of blend, a little bit of diffusion. So they don't quite look like we just drew a line on our face. So if you remember, I'm also using this makeup mat for this look. We'll be adding in a lot of these wrinkles that you see and these age spots and things like that as we go. So that's just part of the detail and texture work that we're doing today. If you wrinkle up your face like this, you can see all those fine lines and wrinkles around the mouth. One thing that might help you when you're thinking about these wrinkles, y'all don't really have a lot around the mouth, probably, but try to make them all kind of different little lengths and spacing apart. Just something to make them look a little more realistic. I also use this time to sharpen and define some of those structures that you put in the last lab. So I added shadow on my nose, but I really want to define this shape, this curve of the nose a little more. I added my shadow in this area, but now I'm going to add this line. All right. I'm going to work on the under eye area some. And if you are unfortunate like me and have these natural wrinkles, you can follow them. Under eye skin is very soft and delicate. Don't push too hard, or it can really give you a kind of a rough line quality, because the skin will just want to go right along with that brush. Also, when you're applying these types of lines, know that, or remember that, unlike when you're sponging on this shadow, you're putting a good bit of product there. So when you go to blend it, you got to be really careful that you're just not smearing it everywhere and just making everything kind of a muddy mess. You can squint and look at your own wrinkles around your eye if you'd like. Sorry, I realize that is very out of frame for y'all. I'll get the other eye and you'll see more over there. So I'm going to squint and I'm going to follow these wrinkles here. And one thing to remember too is while our faces are symmetrical, our wrinkles might not be. The only thing that can help make this look a little more natural is to make sure it's not a mirror image on both sides. Pretty happy with these. I'll tap it out just a little. Soften those edges, tiniest bit. Remember, you don't want to drag so much at this point because you don't want to ruin the definition of the lines. And for the forehead, you kind of want to follow your own wrinkles. I'm also going to put a little between the eyes here. Oh, having a lot of trouble with this one right here, y'all. Just muddying everything up. Okay, that's a little better. Now I've got my own wrinkles. I'm just gonna follow here. If y'all don't, use some of that, some of those references we were talking about. If you've got a family member that can send you a picture, or if you see an image of somebody that looks like you also can kind of create your own if you'd like. While I don't really have one up here, I kind of feel like I want to add one for balance. I would recommend not putting a giant line all the way across your forehead like I've done. It's hard to make it look realistic and feel realistic. It might look great from the stage. We'll see when I back up some, but that one seems a little glaring to me. Maybe adding some more will help though. Make myself look really old. Okay, now I think it's time for a little bit of highlight to go with these. So you want to get a clean brush, or clean the brush you have, and we start adding a little bit of highlight outside of these shadows. I'm going to pat these down just a little, soften them up again. When you're adding your highlight, think about where the light's coming from. What's the high point? With these, the highlight goes right outside of them. So that's the curve of the cheek that comes in. With these little lip wrinkles, you just kind of have to pick a side. Okay, let's do some of this fine detail work around the lips. You want to keep your highlight right next to where the wrinkle is. I'm making the choice today to put my highlight as I go this way to the left side of it and this way to the right side. This work can be very tedious, but it can pay off. As long as you don't let yourself get hasty. I've lost a little bit of my shadow and that blending right here, but pretty happy with the rest of it. I can go back in and punch up those shadow lines a little bit. Ooh. It's a little bit of a bad placement there. That highlight got way away from my shadow line. That's better. The trick is, when you make a mistake, you just gotta kind of own it. If you start trying to blend it or wipe it away, you're gonna end up with just a mess. Always remember to end stage makeup, while we want it to be as perfect as possible, your audience members aren't going to be right on top of you. So since we're creating illusions, chances are your work will work out. At this point, I've kind of blended away my shadow a little too much. I'll have to go back in there too. Like here and there, I'll need to put a little shadow back. All right, blend these in a little bit. Again, just tapping, not really dragging. Some of these highlights have a little heavier quality than I'd like. Just see if I can tone those down a little with some more tapping. It's looking a little better. Ouch. Pretty happy with this so far. Soften that edge on my cheek just a little. All right, how old do I look? Now we can do a few more little detail things. In the makeup map, I want to show you, I got some old age spots, right? So my camera holder's in the way. There's one, I got one on the cheek, I've got a mole there and a couple by the eye. So I'm gonna try to recreate those really quick. For that kind of thing, it's sort of a mixed bag. I'm gonna try our stippling sponge from the makeup kit. This is really rough and a very open-celled sponge. it's great for getting just a little bit of color and shadow there. So you just lightly dab in it, and you can try other colors. I'm gonna try our actual shadow color first. It's kind of nice. Our stippling sponge is also a really nice way to do dirt. Really effective. It's hard to get definition with it though. I have to be careful not to just end up looking a little dirty. Everybody loves a mole or a beauty mark, so I'm gonna add one of those. You can do this with lots of ways. The eyeliner pencil works well. I'm gonna see if I can get it with this brush. It's kind of nice. I like that the edges are a little undefined, like it might be a cancer. Looking pretty good. I think got most of the spots that I put on my map on my face. The last bit I'm gonna do is add a little age to my eyebrows. In your kits, you have, there will be a hair color of some sort. In the fair kits, it's typically a snow white. There's some other ones. Sometimes there's a silvery gray. And I'm just gonna use this brush that came with the kit as well, this side of it, to add a little color to my eyebrow. Don't forget to shake this up really well and use it very sparingly. A little bit goes a long way. Oh, they've added a brush applicator to inside the cap, which is really nice. So you can apply it in the area you want and then use your brush to brush it through. So I'm gonna add a little bit of white. You want to be very careful with this and don't overpaint. Pretty good. I'll do the other one. If you have sort of thin eyebrows like mine, be careful. Like I said, you don't want to overpaint. And you got to be careful, you don't want to get the hair color on the makeup job you just did. So really use your tools wisely. And carefully. See, I got a little too too white right there. There we go. All right. If I'm back combing in the eyebrow helps a little bit too. For those of you that don't know, that's going against the way the eyelashes normally want to lay. It helps you get the hairs coated all the way. You can use this hair color on your temples as well. Anywhere you want to kind of gray up. I know we talk about hair not being required for the labs or the face maps, but if you want to, I encourage you to explore that. You might hit on something really great for your next Halloween costume. I will say I've done an old age look more than once for a Halloween costume and people kind of flip out. We're shooting a video, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
All right, the last thing I want to do is add a little bit of shadow back in there. Those places that I thought I made it kind of go away a little bit. Now I don't remember where they were. Oh, a little bit here. This is the final look. I have to pause the video now. Someone's trying to get in the door. I'll take some photos for you, but we'll take a look at it in the rest of class. Thank you.